And that final topic is escape rooms. Now, the reason we saved this for last, as I said, we're going to talk about one escape room in specific, which is called The Haunting.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Apparently, in other places, it's called something about Japanese. What was it called, Eric? Do you remember the original name? The other two. Oh, so it's Eureka Escape Games.
Yes.
There's 3 locations. There's one in Louisville, Kentucky, Nashville. They said the other one, I don't remember, but it's not that far away from this area. I think it's in Ohio or something. But the other 2 actually call it like the serial killer of Japan or something. And apparently they got so many phone calls saying, do you have to know Japanese?
Oh.
So they changed it for this location and called it The Haunting. So we are going to spoil that one. But if you don't have a way to get to these locations, it won't matter because you're probably never going to play it anyway. Mm-hmm. But we are going to save that until the very end, and I will remind everybody that there is a spoiler alert. So we're going to talk about escape games or escape rooms. Now, a lot of this is because Eric and I just experienced our first actual escape room. Matt has played plenty of them, so we wanted to wait until we at least got one. Mm-hmm. We've played a lot of the unlock games. Matt has played a lot of the exit and unlock games. Mm-hmm. So we got a lot of stuff going on here. On top of that, we can also talk about apps, if you have any of those that might be interesting, right, or whatever. It doesn't have to be like a physical escape room. We're going to talk about all this stuff and what's cool about it, what we'd like to see in the future, and just, you know, maybe our favorite types of puzzles that you've seen without doing any kind of spoilers. So what's up? Let's do it. Matt.
What? Matt has the most experience here.
Matt, you got the most experience. We're going to talk about you.
Okay.
So let's start with what you were talking about, the exit games and real escape rooms and how they correlate a lot better than like the unlock games.
Yeah, I feel like the unlock games are more like your missed game. It's you've got something you're looking at. You got all these numbers you're adding together, this and that. With the exit games, it literally it will give you a book. And I will lay this one out. They had one that was a cabin. And when you opened it up, it was like it gave you a layout of the cabin, but I think every page you flipped showed you a different wall. So it was.
This is the exit game?
Yes, this is the exit game.
Eric, what are we doing? Why haven't we played these?
So it was pretty much like you'd look at a wall, you'd see all this stuff. A lot of times it would involve you like doing things like tearing the book up or something. But it was like you were literally in the room turning around looking at each wall to be able to try and figure out the puzzles and everything. The only problem with the exit games is if you have too big of a group of people trying to do it, you only have the one book. So that gets a little hindering at times.
What do you gotta get really close to each other.
Yeah, you gotta get really close to each other and learn how to share.
Right.
Let everyone kind of take turns doing it.
What do you think the good number for that is? I know you play it with your family, but...
I wouldn't go any bigger than 4. We did one when we were in Michigan, and we used, my family, which is 4 of us, and then 2 other people, and it was just way too much.
Way too much.
Yeah, 6 was too many people to have.
I kind of feel like that with the unlock games. Like like Eric and I, you know, because obviously you've already played a while, so we always play them after you. We played the first one with 6 people because it was the crash landing.
Yep.
Have you played that one?
Yeah, I played that with you all.
What was it? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Which that one's kind of meant to kind of play as a
that one is for more
group.
people.
Yes.
But I mean, I would have rather played with 4.
But even
6.
more, think it was kind of the same problem though when we all got together.
Right. In the end,
It was like all these people wanting to look at the same thing. So.
And then I'm disappointed we didn't play that later. I really wish that we would have started off with 1. I didn't know about the difficulty system with the 1, 2, or 3.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I really wish we just start off with that one. What's it called? The House on the Hill.
Yes. Yeah. They have like a haunted house one, right?
I gave that to Jeremy and he played it and he really enjoyed it. And I think starting off with one of those kind of primes you for what the type of puzzles and the idea of what's going on for an unlock series. But yeah, so ever since we played that, we've played it primarily, I think, 2 players. And I think that I enjoy it mostly 2, and I would be okay with adding a 3rd. So what about the exit games? Would they be okay with 2 people?
I think just depending on maybe the puzzle solving ability of the 2 people, because any kind of escape room, the more heads is better.
That's fair.
Which you all probably saw. Did you all go in with 8?
We brought 6 of us,
And then 2 joined.
And then 2 joined.
And
So
then 2 joint. Yeah, they generally have 8 slots. I think there you can do 8 in the
they had
the
9
superhero
9 slots.
Oh, they had 9 slots. Wow. Okay. The Harry Potter one that they have, which they don't call it that.
I think that one was limited to 4 or 5.
6.
It was pretty low. No, us 6 gonna get into it.
Okay, so 4 then. Okay.
Well, okay, so add on to that. Like, I agree with you somewhat that more heads are better. The only problem with that is if everybody else is solving puzzles faster than you kind of get left behind.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of people, more heads are better, but then you can also run into the problem with, as you all saw, there's a lot of combination locks that use numbers. And if you got a bunch of people,
somebody could just brute force attack it.
Well, no. if you got a bunch of people just screaming numbers back and forth, which the one you all did is a little bit different because it's like different rooms.
Right.
Oh, I was gonna bring that up actually.
A lot of times you're just in one kind of like big room.
Yeah.
And there's just locks all over the place, so everyone's running around trying to figure out numbers.
We got 1817. Put that on all these locks.
Oh, is there a logic usually behind that though? Like if you stop and think, like there's
Maybe
no
there's
reason why this would go over here.
I mean, usually you just try and figure it out. I will tell you one pro tip though, is once you get 3, you just go through the last one.
Because that's
yeah, once you get 3 of them, you just kind of spin the other one and yank on it.
Are you talking about the first 3 numbers?
Yeah, once you get 3 numbers, the 4th number, you just cheat it.
Yeah.
All right, so pro tip.
Yeah.
Stop using combination locks and use like the locker locks where you have to spin the...
you don't see that a lot, but I have seen places use that. That or the directional locks that you push up, down, left, and right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some places use that too.
The spinny thing, though, I can see would be bad because like some people just don't know how to operate them.
You're right.
So that would make sense. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think I like having a smaller group of people that have more puzzle solving experience than a large group of people just to be able to throw stuff out there, because I feel like there's too many things that can go to where like if you stop and you're like focused on one thing, you turn around and like the game's progressed like 20%.
Right. And another problem that could happen is you get a lot of different puzzle pieces for different puzzles.
I was going to say that.
Randomly grabbed, and you don't know who has what. You're like, man, I know there's another piece somewhere. And then you find out this person's been walking around with it in their hand the whole time.
You told us that story.
Yeah. So, or your son has it in his pocket. Yes, you're right. And so that can be a problem too with a lot of people. It takes not an alpha male, but you almost need like a manager.
Yeah, we kind of did that. We assigned roles to people and stuff.
Right.
Like real fast. Loosely. Not
very, very loosely. Like you hold all these gems.
Yeah.
The gems.
Yes.
Or it's like you walk into a room, it's like, okay, you working on this, I'm gonna work on this.
Yeah, because with 8 people, you all can't huddle around one thing and try to figure it out. So we did kind of spread out. Which one bad thing about spreading out means maybe you're not involved in each puzzle.
Yes.
And that is true, because actually what happened in the haunting, the time we did it, we got into the first room. We finally got stuff to get into the other rooms, and I just stayed in that room to keep solving the puzzles that were in there.
Oh,
I didn't really get to experience the other 2 rooms.
Oh, really?
Okay. I think they completely solved it. It is 3 rooms, right?
It's 4, but yeah.
Including the hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
The middle room and then 3 other rooms.
Yeah, you had the tea room, the bedroom, and then the library or study or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I stayed in the study the whole time.
Try not to spoil this one yet. We'll get to that.
Sorry, yes, I forgot. But anyways, I stayed in this one particular room, and I think they had already finished one of the rooms by the time I caught back up with the group. So
gotcha.
I mean, I got to experience that room to myself,
right?
But I didn't get anything from the other ones. Right.
So how many of the physical escape rooms have you played now?
5.
Nice.
Okay.
So
it was actually less than I thought it was.
Yeah, I thought it was
like
6 or 7.
Hey, man, you want to join us on this one? We got a choice of this and this. I think you just, I already played both of those.
Yeah, I think you just picked a bad spot or whatever, and just the ones you picked.
And there's a bunch of different escape rooms in Louisville, right?
We have a lot of them. Yes.
Yeah. Man, that's so awesome. We're gonna go around and do them all now.
From what I heard, I suppose they do like trade them out every month or a couple months. I haven't really been paying attention, but that's kind of what I heard.
Sometimes they'll add on. I know, like the one on Preston, they had one that was called Live or Die. It was essentially like Saw.
Yeah.
You went in, they handcuffed you, they blindfolded you, and then when your time started, it was like you're in the bathroom from Saw.
Nice.
And you like were you handcuffed?
Yeah, and you play along. They're not actually handcuffed. You can take them off, do whatever, and it's just like magnetized to metal.
Oh,
so you can take it off and walk around if you want. But in the spirit of the game,
right? You figure it out.
You try and figure out the puzzle to be able to get
but
out.
You're not trying to find a key that's close to you to unlock.
No, it took. Whenever we did that one the first time, it was just me and Nikki, and they had us on opposite side of the room, and we had to work together to be able to like we're getting stuff on our own sides and tossing stuff back and forth.
Quickly on that one too, you know how they have a certain amount of people. Do you remember how many people that they allowed in that setting
in
that game?
In the Live or Die one,
right? The one you just were talking about.
Let me think. We did it with me and Nikki, and then we went back with me, Nikki, and the kids. Because they redid it. I was getting to. They added on to it, so they changed some of the puzzles and did something else with it.
So I was gonna say, I wonder if it's worth going to where it's designed for 8 people or up to 9 people. If you do it just the 2 of you, can you really experience something that is geared for, say, 8 people? That's gonna take them about an hour. Where if you go in there with 2 people, you're only going to experience maybe a half of it or something.
Yeah, you know,
unless you're really good.
Yeah, I don't know. Me and Nikki did really good on that one.
Okay.
I think we got out in like 45 minutes or something.
Okay,
out of
still
an hour.
15 minutes left over. Wow, with the 2.
Yeah. And then you know, the next time we went with the kids though, we were like, I think within 3 minutes of getting out though. It was like really close.
Oh
wow! Even though, because they changed a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, it doesn't require more people to do anything. I don't think. Is that what you're asking? I guess
that's what. Yeah, pretty much like. So if it takes, if it's designed for 8 people and it takes them about an hour, then I wonder if 2 people go in, can they actually really experience the whole thing and get out with just 2 people?
Well, like I said, we did on that one. They actually said sometimes less people can be better because you can communicate better.
Okay.
Because you're all on the same page. You don't have to ask people, what do you think? What do you think?
Right.
You know.
And that's what I'm saying. The more people sometimes can be a headache.
You don't have people going in and grabbing stuff and dumping it out.
Right.
It's like, whoa, how
what did
was
that look like before you started?
And sometimes personalities will clash, you know, just and
how many times have you done it with other people, like randoms?
I think the only time we did it was whenever we actually did the haunting. We went there for Desi's, my daughter's birthday party. Her birthday, she wanted to do an escape room. So it was me, Nikki, my daughter, one of her friends, and her teacher. 3 other girls showed up. So we did have 8.
Okay.
In the haunting. So we had 3 random people. Actually, we all worked together really well. We didn't have any problems.
Awesome.
Well, that's good.
I think the girls actually even said, you know, thanks to me for not being a like typical guy, kind of
like an alpha gamer.
Alpha gamer.
Like, I got this, girls.
Bossing everything around. So we all worked really well together and everything. So
that's cool. Well, one thing I thought about was with these multi-room puzzles. Is that the only one that you've played that's multi-room, Matt?
It would be a spoiler to say.
Okay, well,
yes. Sometimes there's hidden rooms in other escape rooms.
Hidden rooms?
Yes.
That's awesome.
That is fantastic. I just got really excited because, like, the only thing that was weird about this other one is, and this isn't a spoiler because they tell you in the intro that all the puzzles are related to something in that room.
They're contained in the room, yes.
Right,
and
which made it easier.
It did make it easier, but it would be neater if you're like for instance, like even though it's not an escape room, and I wanted to bring this up for Matt specifically. In retrospect, do you think that True Dungeon would be better now?
after you've experienced escape
Well,
rooms?
actually, I always liked the puzzle aspect of it, but the problem is what, you have 10, 12 people doing that one, though?
And the puzzles are insane.
And the puzzles are insane.
Because it's like one puzzle that's like, good luck.
Yeah, and you only have like
7 or 8
minutes to try and figure it out. So it's a little bit rougher.
Yeah.
Or a lot rougher.
It's fun to try and figure it out, but you almost are expecting to not do it.
Right, because in an escape room, you have an hour to divide how you want. In this, you have 7 rooms to divide, or to have 7 minutes each time.
And I'll be honest, I didn't really care for some of the like physical aspects of some of the puzzles either.
That's true.
That they do in True Dungeon.
Like I was telling Eric, the one where they had the huge like 7-foot cube in the middle of the room with all the air coming out of the different holes.
Right.
And you had to like put all these pipes and stuff, and it was like, whoa.
That remember when we all had taught we all had to hold the
rope,
not the rope, wasn't it like wooden sticks to try and move the egg?
Oh yeah, that was ridiculous.
We had to scoop the egg out of something and take it to another spot and
move it. Like it was so big and heavy, you need like 5 people to hold it with different sticks.
Right. It was pretty unreal.
It was incredible teamwork.
So the physical challenges like that, I don't care for that. If it's just a regular puzzle,
was that
Double Dare?
Yeah. Physical challenge.
Physical challenge.
Yeah, so I don't know. I was talking to Eric about maybe going back and doing True Dungeon next year, at least at Origins or something.
Right.
And like we could do the puzzle one because there's 7 rooms, and typically it's like 4 combat, 3 puzzle, or it's reversed.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's 5 and 2. I don't remember. But I mean, they were done well. I think overall, what do you think about the presentation of all these escape rooms you've done? Because the one we did was pretty typical, but it was set in a, like the haunting was, it's a modern day environment, so it's easy to decorate for,
and it's also set like Japanese style, so it's kind of easy to decorate in that style.
Right. Yes. And so like, what about like the other escape rooms? Do they look pretty, like, cause I imagine the Harry Potter or the superhero one being kind of chintzy, like cheesy.
The Harry Potter one was actually pretty neat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I mean, it's not elaborate, but it did kind of have like, you walk in, it's kind of like dark and a lot of wood, kind of, wall paneling and stuff. Not wall paneling, like crappy wall paneling, but it just looked like real wood, walls and everything, like you're in a study. And yeah, no, I thought the presentation on that one was fine. Like I told you, the Live or Die was pretty good. We did one out on.
Did that one feel really grimy and dirty?
Yeah, no, yeah, it had a it had a good vibe to it. Like I said, you felt like you were in the bathroom from the beginning of Saw.
Nice.
So that's awesome. I'm like so excited about escape rooms now. You have no clue.
Yeah.
Or you do, but
yeah. And now we did one out. There is 2 off of Bluegrass Parkway.
Yeah.
There's one in a house, and then there's another one in like an industrial park somewhere. I've not been to that one, but I've been to the one in the house. I think it's called Louisville Unlock. And we did that one. It was like you're on a desert island or a deserted island or something in the middle of the ocean. It just didn't really feel like it.
Yeah,
like they had like
in a box.
They had like the front of it had like this kind of cool boat looking thing, and like they had another, like there was a palm tree, but like it just didn't really feel the same. Like the puzzles were, that one's actually pretty rough. That one was the only one I've done I haven't gotten out of.
Oh, wow.
But we took some family members that aren't really, that was also the one where my son had the coin in his pocket and kind of hindered us a little bit. We were close, but we didn't quite, probably another 5 minutes or so we might have got it. But
I guess it would be hard to design an escape room in a different environment, because like,
right,
it's not an island. I can clearly see walls around me.
Yes. And now and saying that they have another one there that's based on like a haunted house or something that I really want to go try. I'm sure it will probably be, designed better.
Right, because it's easier to be able to pull off.
Yeah, I guess the best thing they could have done was throw sand all over the floor or something to try and
that would have been awesome. Go ahead and take off your shoes, guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sand.
Yeah, there's a lot of sand.
Now, the one thing you were talking about with the True Dungeon is that you don't like the physical aspect of those, but I do think that some of the escape rooms have physical aspects. Do you like the more thinky puzzles, or do you like the ones that have a little bit of physical aspect? Where you
when
find something and have to move things. Or
yeah,
whatever.
whenever they do have a physical, though, it doesn't. I mean, it is a physical aspect, but it's
like
not.
a kid could do it.
Yeah, it's not to the point of
Right.
of what we did in True Dungeon.
Where you need 10 people to have like you're at a camp for
super,
your corporate event trying
Yeah.
to do team building exercises.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a totally different level. So
Yeah. Well, cool. You want to? I didn't realize we could have so much to talk about on escape rooms, but let's talk about. I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to say before we move on to spoiling this escape room? Because I think there's going to be some decent discussion there.
I know.
Well, I mean, for the basic discussion, I feel like I talked the whole time. Did you all pretty much enjoy this? And I mean, good
It's
experience.
amazing.
It's
the best thing
amazing.
I've ever done.
That's the best thing.
Oh, it was fantastic.
I could see some improvement. I know for the one that we went to. Are we ready to talk about the one we went to?
Not yet. Not
Okay.
yet.
I'm just saying in general.
Oh, in
you know,
general.
Yeah, I
in
think for the-
general, I do enjoy the mechanics of doing an escape room, whether it be on a card form or in real life. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing I think that really got me interested in escape rooms was just like I think back to Resident Evil.
Oh
Res-
yeah.
It's
Resident
essentially
Evil doing
that's
puzzles.
what Resident Evil was
Used
an
to be.
escape room.
Mhm.
Yeah, it used to be. Yes. Now it's they make you cringe on the couch.
Right.
I-
right.
I- I-
Bad acting.
I will say back in the day, I knew that they had a lot of puzzle-y type of games. I didn't really enjoy those, but I do.
Like the point and click adventure games and stuff.
Yeah, where you have to figure out a lot of, you go to this room and figure out a puzzle, and you do this and you figure out a puzzle. Now, back in the day, I didn't enjoy those, but now, maybe going back, I might enjoy it. I wouldn't say that I would like a game, but I do enjoy it as like doing it on cards or doing an escape room or exit game and stuff like that. I do enjoy that aspect of it. I didn't enjoy the digital aspect of it.
Okay.
Have you played? I had to look it up on my phone because I wasn't for sure. Have you played The Room on the iPhones?
No, that's a super popular one. They have like 3 of them or 4 of
It
them or
is-
something.
It is crazy good
Yeah.
How is it?
because it does have a little bit more of a supernatural feel to it because
Mhm.
like you have a puzzle box. It's like somebody hands you a square and you're like, what do you do with this? And you're moving it around and you touch the corner and all of a sudden the corner pops out. Like, oh, cool. And it has like something written on it. So
And
you
then-
start turning it and like crazy stuff
And
starts
then
coming.
Pinhead shows up.
Yeah, right. So it's not like you couldn't recreate that in real life, but they are fantastic. I think they're only $1.
Yeah, they're fairly cheap.
Yeah, I would highly recommend just buying them all. They're super long.
Tim's going to escape room crazy.
He is
Well, no,
everything.
I actually played those like years ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, as they came out, I've played them.
Okay, cool.
One had a ship, and it's like a model of a ship, and you get real close, and like little things happen, like a cannon comes out and fires and destroys a wall. And,
No.
like, it's like a lot of cool like special effects and stuff like that you couldn't do in real life, but
Right.
they are phenomenal.
Hmm.
They are really good iOS games.
Hmm.
So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and spoil The Haunting. I don't remember the other name of it. It's something about Japanese serial killer. So if you do go to the Eureka Games escape games in the other 2 locations, Nashville or Ohio, wherever the other one was, just remember that it does have 2 names. So if you're thinking about going to this one, you may want to go ahead and stop the podcast now. This is the last thing we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about The Haunting at Eureka Escape Games, if I got that right.
Mhm.
And so this is your spoiler alert warning. 3, 2, 1, spoil. I do have one last thing I was going to actually say.
the clock.
Well, I was going to say, would you ever play an escape room longer than an hour? I'm like,
yeah.
why are these things like 3 hours long?
Oh,
Make
yeah,
us, I want a whole
would-
freaking house.
definitely.
Well, yeah.
If they did one, that's what I was thinking about. Why don't you do like a super escape room? I would definitely be up on that.
Oh, another game I loved was Maniac Mansion.
Oh, that's fair.
And that's
That was on your top 10 list of
yeah, and so it's
Sega games
it's
or whatever.
essentially like the same thing. It's
Yep.
you're running around a house, you're finding things that'll work in other rooms to allow you to advance.
Mhm.
It's so yeah, they had a Maniac Mansion real house, and I had to be in it for like 3 hours. Oh man, I'd be down with that one.
yeah.
That'd be incredible.
All right, so let's talk about this. We walk in a room, right?
Yep.
It's like a serial killer.
Let's start off with the video.
Oh yeah,
No, actually, they did better on the video than. Oh no, one second. The video quality was kind of low, but they banged on the door in
Yeah.
the exact right time. They flickered the lights.
Right.
That part of it was pretty cool. The quality of the video was kind of low.
Right.
I do like the horror theme going on.
Yeah.
Because
They definitely set the mood for you before you walk into this thing.
Yeah.
But we walk in. It's funny because like Eric and I, and you obviously, but it's like the same thing with unlock games. As soon as you flip over the card, bam, there's a hidden number right there.
Yeah.
As soon as we walk in, Eric's like, the clock stopped. It's 10:25.
Yeah.
That's the code right there. It goes in that room. And that was before we even started. She was
still
telling us about
explaining
stuff. I was
stuff.
looking around and getting clues.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty neat. But we didn't get into the room, which is weird because Eric didn't know you had to hit pound.
Right. Yeah.
Not
I
that
put it 1025 and it didn't do anything. But later on, when we got into the second door, it did say, triangle, square, blah blah blah, and then pound.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay.
I wonder if that was on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, I can't be on purpose because it's a clock. But
Right.
I guess if you're used to those door locks,
Mhm.
I do like the fact that they had door locks. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a cool way to lock you out of getting into something.
Well, door locks, as in they are digital locks where you have to punch in the number
Yeah.
in order for you to open the physical
Correct.
handle, or not the handle, the knob.
Yeah, you're not getting in without knowing a code
Right.
or breaking something, which is not
Not what you're
Recommended.
supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they do lock you in, but they do leave a key for you if you need to use it to get out.
Yeah,
Yes.
if you get all freaked out.
Because
and
they
stuff.
cannot legally lock you in.
Yeah. So how many times, let's ask that. So during this game, they actually have like the lights start flashing.
They
Everybody
only
had to
did it
give
to us once.
They only did it to us once too.
Okay, I was
Yeah.
expecting more times than that.
Yeah.
but-
Yeah. Although our group, every time it
Anything.
made a noise or anything, they were like, "All right, it's gonna happen. Everybody get in the middle."
Yeah, our
I was
fire
like,
drill was
All right, stop, guys.
if it starts doing it, get to the middle, and then we'll go to the room from there.
Right.
Which room was it for you all?
We had to run into the one next to the study. Was that the bedroom?
The bedroom.
That was the bedroom.
They had the little bed on the floor.
Yeah.
The bamboo sticks on the.
We had to run into that one.
Mm.
Oh, gotcha. Ours was the main hallway.
Yeah.
So
Main-
like,
Oh,
really?
Our
Yeah.
whole thing about let's jump in the middle of the hall, and we're like, okay,
Yeah,
we're here.
it's here.
Never mind.
Hmm.
Did you all use any hints?
Yes.
What'd you
okay.
use it on?
I had to use it I stayed in the study. And that was the room I stayed in.
There was quite a lot to do in that study.
I just couldn't figure out where. I knew I needed to find some kind of Japanese translation. I just didn't know where it was. And I had the black light.
Yes,
I just didn't know where to look.
That's actually what we were looking around. It was Jake with us. He was looking around with the black light, couldn't find anything. He handed it to me. I was looking around. Maybe I didn't think about doing the wall, but yeah, we found it at the exact same time. Because I think Jake did it. I did it. We gave it to Tim. He was doing it.
I found it really quick. I just want to say because I was like, look, I do this with my cats all the time.
Mhm.
It's like I smell pee. Let's find out where it's at. You turn off the lights. You get the black light. You wave that stuff down. You can see spatter on the walls and stuff. My house is not
Did
dirty.
you all move the thing?
The screen,
The
yeah.
screen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
He
figured
actually
maybe
did
it
the
wa-
whole screen.
Yeah, I figured it was like on the screen or maybe on the buttons on the couch thing. Not the couch, the seat. It wasn't on any of that. It was.
And then Eric was like, he starts doing all the other rooms.
Yeah.
All right. So real quick, before we talk more, let's just kind of set the tone on this whole thing too. Like, so everybody, we're talking, it's cool, but
Right.
set it for somebody else. So there's a hallway that you walk in. The hallway is basically a square with 3 rooms off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And those 3 rooms, one with the bed was, what's that called? The bedroom.
The bedroom.
Ha, ha.
Yeah.
There was like a bed on the ground. There's a dresser. The puzzles that were in there, like the drawers were locked. There's a lockbox on the top. And then there was some stuff in the drawers and stuff.
You can get into the drawers
At
in
first,
the beginning, right?
Yes. And then there was like a dress, a kimono hanging on the wall. Now the second room actually was like the study that had a chair and it had a cabinet, like a shelf with a cabinet at the bottom. That was locked with a huge chain around it.
Mm-hmm.
And you wanted to get in there. And what I thought was interesting about that is you can actually pull that open and see in it.
Yeah, to see what was in it.
No, I don't think I ever did.
Although that didn't
No.
really help you.
It didn't, but I thought it would be cool if they hid the puzzle in there and like you had to kind of like barely
Do
see it.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there was a TV in there that was just on in a DVD player, and it's like you had to find the disc.
Mm-hmm.
There's like a traditional 3-screen Japanese kind of blind thing that stands freestanding, like
room divider kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. And then there's a table that had a couple of drawers and some random stuff on top of it. The third room.
There was a bookcase, and there was like 3 decapitated little Komodo dolls.
That's fair. Which was the bookcase with the locked
chain,
cabinet
right.
at the bottom. The last room was actually it had like a
tea room or whatever.
Yeah, tea room. Yeah, it's like where you sit and drink tea. There was all these teacups on there with numbers written in them and stuff.
No, yep.
Yep, and
With colors
on the backside.
And there was some like a table, and there was like a dresser.
The dresser with stuff scribbled on the front, kind of stuff.
Yeah, the drawers had like, you could tell there was stuff written on it, but the drawers were out of order. It is worth noting that room was back to back with the study, and on the wall, one room had a bunch of dominoes, and the other room had like a bunch of those little kids puzzle pieces that are carved out of wood in different colors. Yeah, they have like shapes equaling the same amount of dominoes on the other side. So that's kind of like the setup, and you're trying to figure out, I don't even remember what the story is, honestly. I know he killed people, but while were we there?
Probably trying to get out. Escape,
actually,
so he didn't come back and get us, or
I guess so. They, besides telling us, who he was, they didn't really say what you're trying to do. You're just
at the end of the video, I think it said why you're going to the apartment.
Oh.
Well, anyway, so we walked in, and immediately the clock wasn't working. We figured that was a door thing. You open a book, there's a Sudoku puzzle.
Yeah, before that, how did we get into that the study room? Do you remember?
the study room.
Yeah, because only one room was open. That was the Sudoku puzzle.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the first room we went into.
Yeah, that was the first room we went into as well.
Oh, really? Because the other room not open, or was it open? No, the first room we walked into was the one with the TV.
Yeah,
right.
Because that was open.
The study.
You said that. Okay, that was just open.
Okay, was that just open?
I don't even think it. I think the door was shut, but you just opened it, right? Because the other two because it didn't even have a keypad.
Okay.
You just walk into that. The bedroom, you had to figure out that Sudoku puzzle.
Right.
But it was already like 80% full, so it wasn't that complicated.
Mm-hmm.
It did take a few minutes, but
right.
So,
but we had like 2 expert Sudoku players on our team, so
yeah.
So they finished it out.
Yep. And then it had some really good puzzles. It's interesting to. I wonder if you tell me.
Well, it had some
in comparison to the other escape rooms.
Cool puzzles and some lamer finishing of the puzzles. Like to study, they had different boxes with a different amount of objects in those boxes.
Right.
Which at first we had no idea what it was. I wasn't even in that room.
Oh, did people mix up what was in what?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
So when I came into that room, I just seen different boxes and different stuff strewn off onto the table.
Oh, no.
There's
yeah.
And then Jake was like, okay, yeah, that was in this box, this was in that box, and whatnot. Because then I figured out that all the boxes had different shapes.
Right.
At this point, we didn't even get into for some reason didn't get into the
middle drawer. 2 people went through the drawers, but both people missed the middle drawer.
Right.
And so we didn't even know what this stuff was relating to.
Yeah,
right.
we just knew it was just random stuff to us at that point. But once we figured that, I was like, oh, they're different shapes, So there's only one rock in this, so that must be one. There's these 2 buttons. Who remembers where these 2 buttons came from? Who remembers where these 4 or 5 beanbag things came from?
Yeah, because the puzzle was you take the 4 shapes of the boxes they came out of and how many pieces were in each.
Right.
Yeah.
And so if you had all that mixed up and they didn't know what to do, somebody coming in is like, I don't know what's going on.
Which was kind of cool part to kind of figure that out. But then that in the middle drawer there was a piece of paper that says heart plus square equals. And and that's how you figured it out.
That part was lame.
Yeah, it's like they could have figured out something better to
do, not just a piece of paper.
Yeah,
I agree with that. Have something on the have a carving. You know what I mean? Have something that's pretty neat.
You had to find out. That was this square is 3, and then it I don't know. It corresponds to something else. and that's how we know it's the first one. Instead of just having a piece of paper that you're like, all right,
Yeah,
the first letters.
Like, hey,
heart
try
plus-
to figure me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was probably the lamest puzzle in there. Like the components to do the puzzle
Was
great,
nice, right?
but the paper was dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, what was your favorite puzzle out of all those? Not all the escape rooms, but just this
Well,
one.
like I said, I was pretty much in that study the whole time.
Oh,
So
what was
did
you
you kinda
trying to
figure
figure
out-
out? What was?
I was just doing the whole room.
Oh, gotcha.
You got
Like
did the whole room
I
yourself?
yeah, like once they could go into another room, I think everybody left.
Yeah.
And so I just stayed in there and was trying
And
to
did the
find
stuff.
do everything else. Or was the DVD in a different room? Or
It was
No,
it's in that
it was-
room.
it was
okay,
in that
yeah. So
room.
I did pretty much that whole room myself.
Oh, really?
Gotcha.
Wow. I
You
would
even did all the
say-
translation alone.
Yes.
Oh, really?
That
Wow.
sucks.
Nice.
Yeah.
How much time did y'all have left when you got out?
We got out with like really like 2 minutes or less or something. It was, We
Okay.
were like really close to getting out.
We had almost 9 minutes left.
Yeah. So
And
we
I
still
think
had
it's because we just had a lot of like tag teaming on the, like
On
I saw
stuff.
that and I'm like, we had 3 people solving that. It had to have been much faster than one. Not saying that you're not quick, but the setup and looking at the TV and the wall with the flashlight and
Right.
trying to write it down on paper, one person, that's like a burden.
Yeah.
So
Which I guess you figured out the pausing the video.
Yes.
oh
By
yeah,
yourself
that's
pretty
pretty
quick.
obvious.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. None of you guys kind of picked up on it. It seemed like I was the one who was like, "Oh,
No.
pause that.
No.
Rewind that. Go back there."
The girl with the remote, which was not part of our party, they were awesome by the way. They were fine.
Yeah.
But she apparently did not know how to.
Well-
it wasn't Netflix, so she wasn't really going to get it. Like, she's
Yeah.
like, "This is a CR. What is this tube TV? What?"
Yeah.
Yeah, she was younger. I'm just
Right.
playing, but she was like, the remote was a foreign object. Yeah, so that was pretty funny. But I forgot to mention that when we were on the way home because I was like, I started laughing and then I stopped because I didn't want to insult her.
Mhm.
But I'm like, this is not a mouse and keyboard watching some Netflix, click,
Yeah.
or whatever. But I think one of the coolest things, it's the most simple thing ever. But one of the coolest things to me was that they took metal rods and put it through the cabinets. Did you see that?
Yeah.
With the magnet to
And
be
you-
able to pull it out.
That is
Right.
fantastic. I'm assuming that's going to be done all the time.
It gets used regularly.
Does it?
Yeah, it's a common having to stick a magnet through something to get something out is
Yeah.
common.
That's
Yeah.
fair.
That's probably a pretty easy thing to reuse in different
Yeah.
aspects.
And I like the fact that they had that CD player and you had to like scavenge some batteries
Yeah.
out of clocks and stuff to.
I would have kind of liked it better. Well, for ours and for this one, everything was self-contained in each room.
It would have been cool if you had to go find a clock in another room and get its
Right.
battery.
So, or there were clocks in the rooms. Scavenge a battery from those clocks, and instead of all right, I found batteries in this drawer. In this other drawer in the same room, I found something to play the CD that was in one of these drawers.
Yeah.
So everything was in the drawers. And it was like a no-brainer thing. It's not like, oh, I figured out what these batteries go to.
Well, realistically, that puzzle was a no-brainer anyway. Because what else you could use batteries for? There's a cassette player or a CD player without batteries in it.
Right.
Being spread amongst the whole game, like all
Yeah,
these
it's like,
different rooms,
hey,
it would have been
anybody-
okay.
Anybody find batteries?
Right.
Yeah.
I need some batteries so I can do this, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
What you think of that Grudge Cat?
Did you notice its throat was slit?
No.
Yeah, it was
its head is
mostly
like
decapitated.
yeah. It's,
Oh, I didn't catch that.
I don't
no.
know if it's a mistake or something.
we
but-
never took it out, so we
Oh,
just
really?
left it.
You never looked in it or moved it around?
I don't think it's supposed to be killed, but because when you pick it up, there's a sound box underneath of it that plays real loud, a cat screaming.
Right, yeah,
When-
because
when you
that's
open it up.
there was nothing else with that drawer, right? It was just
No.
supposed to jump scare you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It didn't jump scare anybody, but did it for you guys?
I was like,
No,
is that
it was
a
just-
cat?
okay.
It was just funny.
yeah.
No, they put a real cat in there and it hopped out.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, why am I in this
Oh,
drawer?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That would be awesome. The tea room was probably my least favorite room. The tea puzzle was kind of neat, but meh.
Was
Yeah.
that now was the dresser in that room too?
That's true. Never mind. I forgot.
Yeah, the dresser was kind of
Rearranging the
Interesting.
dresser drawers was awesome.
was that in
Yeah.
the tea room?
Yes.
It was. Desi actually was the one that figured that one out.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
She was in there
I'm-
with all the
I'm-
girls, and I heard them congratulating her. I walked in and
That's
I
awesome.
was like, "What's going
Yeah.
on?" They were like, "Oh,
I-
well, she figured this out."
I
And-
figured
yeah.
that one out, which it wasn't hard to figure out, but
No, it's pretty cool because like it is kind of dimly lit, so it's hard to kind of see that immediately.
yeah. I
Right.
mean, you definitely know there's something there, and there's a reason
Yeah.
behind.
Did you all use all your clues also?
We didn't use any.
You didn't use
Well,
any?
we were about to for the black light, but as soon as we radioed it in, we were like, all right, now cancel.
Yeah, cancel. No, shut up. Shut up.
No, we don't need you.
Stop talking.
Now, the one thing I will say is they completely solved puzzles for you, which I don't care.
Oh, they said, okay, you do this.
Like if I was like, how do I translate this? He would have like said, well, have you found this yet? No. Well, he would have walked me all the way through it to get me to find the black light to be able to solve that.
Okay.
You could, cleverly question your clues to do that. They would do whatever you asked.
Yeah.
But it was up to you to word it in a way that would help you the best.
I got you. So I want to ask you a question so you can further me along, but don't solve it. So it's like, what do I need next so I can continue on? And they might just say, you need a black light.
Yeah.
Okay, Helen, stop. I'll look for it.
Right.
That makes sense.
So, hey, the black light's in here, and you have to do this to get it out.
Yeah. What did you think of? So as we're playing this, each room, there's 3 rooms. Each room will open a box with the final puzzle has a box or whatever, and you get more of those little pieces. They have letters on them, the little toy pieces or whatever.
Yep.
And once you find all those, then you're going to do the only puzzle that actually goes across rooms, which is the dominoes and the little cutouts. That I feel like was super easy. Like it's not, you can't figure it out without having the pieces, but once you have the pieces, it just makes total sense.
Right.
It wasn't really that difficult. I thought that was okay. Like that was neat. Could have had a cooler finale.
Sure.
But
some of the pieces could have, I don't know, been made a little better.
Those are like dollar store items.
Well, even like they put A, B's, and C's on the little wood pieces, but it could have been like stamped on there. Or they just used like a black marker and was like,
make it look more authentic. This was like, I don't know, it was all the
actually, what they probably could have done was like kanji symbols, and had like
kanji.
And had like
wooden kanji, or like mahjong tiles, or something.
Just had them to where they all at least like matched, and you knew that like these went together, and you found it up there or something. Yeah. I mean, it just to give it a little bit better feel or something.
That was probably the only puzzle that really doesn't make sense in the environment. Like the teacups are fine because it's like it's cool looking.
You're kind of right because it was just like random.
Like why?
Yeah, why did this dude hang this stuff on his wall?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So everything else really just fit. The theme was okay. It worked out. Like, even just the translating the kanji, which immediately I was like, that is not what that says. Because like kanji is a word, right? Usually. And I was like, it's not a letter. So like that was okay too. I mean, that was a neat concept because translating is always fun. Deciphering stuff or whatever. But yeah, that was really good. How many, like, how of all those puzzles, do you see a lot of those puzzles in the other escape rooms?
Redone.
You're going to commonly have where you have symbols, colors associated with numbers, depending on what the lock is. The metal rod I think has been in 4 of the 5 I've done. So that is
I don't care. It's not getting old.
That's a common one.
It's such a cool way to lock.
And
a cabinet.
And it might not even be like a cabinet. It'll just be like, use this magnet to, there's a random hole somewhere that you have to go down and get something out of. That will probably give you more of a clue to what you need to do.
Yeah.
Like I said, it won't always be a cabinet. That gets used a lot. Usually you decipher something.
That's fair.
So
that makes sense.
I think that's usually like the 3 most common in a lot of them.
Neat. Well, awesome. I don't know. I don't know what else y'all want to talk about with this one.
I will tell you this: how'd y'all do on the recollection thing?
I was gonna bring it up earlier, and I was like, I'll leave it till the end. First, before we talk about that, do they all do that?
No, unfortunately.
So this is the only one that gives you a score.
And the gems.
The
superhero one will do it. Also, the wizard one there will not do that.
Recollection.
The recollection and the gen part. But no other escape rooms that I've done do that
because they don't give you a score.
No.
Or whatever.
By the way, we are the highest score. I mean, it was Dave like 4 or something.
So you possibly could go back and do the superhero one for free then.
More than likely not. But apparently, I think we only missed one of the questions at the end. Technically,
It
we
was-
missed the second one, but she gave it to us.
Right.
But we did find all the
You
gems.
found them all? Okay.
Yeah. Did y'all find them all?
We were missing one, and it was in a shoe of all the things
Oh, that's the first one that
that we.
Okay.
Well, you know,
it was Melissa. She likes shoes. Whoa, look at those shoes.
the thing is whoever was checking the shoes, and I think it might have been like Desi and Parker, or Desi and her friend, and they checked that shoe.
Oh, so maybe it just didn't move.
It didn't move, or they didn't notice it. So they found it. They just didn't know they did.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So we got 4 of the 5. I think we how many questions did they ask? I forget.
5?
Yeah, 4 or 5.
5?
Yeah.
Did they ask you about the symbols and the things in them?
No,
what?
They didn't ask you that?
The questions I think are from a huge list of questions
Oh man, they asked us about those symbols and what exactly was in each one.
on the cups.
No, the star with the heads and the circle with the buttons.
Oh yes, yeah, they did ask us that.
Oh, they
and,
had-
and I was like, all right. So and
It was
I
how many
remembered.
objects though?
Yeah, how many objects in each one? And I was like, all right.
Oh yeah,
so,
you added them up.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, but
oh yes, for everything.
So maybe it is
so
the
there were
same
6
questions.
Yeah, so it was like 13 or something.
Yeah, and then like they asked,
How many bamboo
how many bamboo was in the
Okay,
thing?
maybe
it was
it's all
probably
the same.
Like what was the paintings on the wall on the bamboo mats?
in the teacup in the tea
Yes,
room?
the dragon and the bird or whatever,
Right.
or crane and something. I
yes,
think.
Yeah.
the ocean and the mountain and the
I think they might change those out possibly. I don't know.
And then what was the other?
no, they don't.
How many pairs of men's shoes?
Yes, exactly.
Was in the
2
hallway?
on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they asked us the same questions.
Right.
So if you want a better score, just go back.
yeah, just go back. You have a whole month.
Yeah. The
Get a
only thing
perfect
I will say,
score.
I guess I do like red herrings, but the decapitated dolls had nothing to do with anything, right?
No.
No, there was just 3 heads
No, yes.
in one of the
Yes.
boxes.
Their heads were in one of the boxes.
Oh, I see. And it counted as those items
Yes.
or whatever.
Mhm.
It would have been so much cooler if
If you had to, we tried to put them on there.
Yes.
Maybe they did something.
if they rigged it up to where they only fit on one doll. The dolls were like screwed into the thing, so you can't move them. And when you put them in there, it turns on like a red dot laser, and it points you at something.
or
That would be-
or something. Exactly.
Okay.
There is so much you can
Now,
do.
I will say there is another fun one that they use a lot is they'll have magnets, and like one was like a chessboard and it had like chess pieces, and you had to like move the chess pieces around, and you can cheat with this also because you can take the piece and move it around until it grabs. But I mean, if you want a spirit of the game, try and figure it out logically. Once you get all the pieces in a certain combination and all the magnets are engaged, like something will usually click and something will drop.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. I want to see more of that. So I feel
Right.
like this one had some decent like overall, but maybe not the best puzzles.
Yeah, probably not. The so the wizard one is a lot of like you have wands and you have to like do stuff in a certain order. It takes a lot of cooperation.
How do they watch you and then do it, or
They teach you how to use the wands before you go in.
I wonder if it's kind of like
like that the quest or whatever
game. Yeah,
Matt, you've
like,
played that. Right?
No, I haven't. You could
Oh.
jab, you could slash it down, or you could I think maybe do a circle. It was like one of those
Oh.
3 movements.
Never mind.
Okay. But anyways, they're coordinated with different things in the room. So
And so stuff happens when you do it right.
Yes.
Oh, so that
Oh.
one's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. It's a lot easier though. We
We could just
me, Nikki, and 2
Every
people, like a dude from my work and his girlfriend who had never done an escape room before. We got out in 45 minutes with no help.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so it's probably an easier one.
It's fairly easy. Yeah,
Man.
it didn't challenge us at one bit.
I would say I would like more of a challenge versus less of a challenge. Like
Now-
if it's too easy, then I would be like,
They act like the superhero one is pretty rough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is the hardest room there.
and that's the one you haven't done.
I have not done that one.
I see that they had capes on the wall. So
Yes.
you're probably
Yes.
wearing capes.
Yep.
Then you do it like that thing you signed a waiver for the Halloween thing in California where they beat you and stuff like that. Remember what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do that with the escape room, but like you're literally like tied up and you have to like get out and find a knife and cut it. You have to sign so many waivers. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to playing more. This is fantastic.
There's even one in Jefferson Mall.
Is there really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they
They
put
have
one in
popped
Jefferson.
up everywhere.
Oh yeah, there's one on 4th Street Live.
What?
Yeah.
Oh man, like so. I was always talking about how I've played like every putt in Louisville.
The
at
one is
point.
right down the road from.
This is what I'm gonna do next.
The Live or Die one is like the next shopping center over from Rick's shop.
Is it
Pet
really?
Shop Comics, yeah. That other shopping center, like instead of turning right into his, you go left. That's where that one is.
Oh, with an amazing donut place at one point.
I don't know anything about that, but yeah, it's down there on the end.
So we've only been to this one, right? So you've been to other places. Would you say their production value is on par, better, or worse?
Yeah, like the overall decoration,
production value.
Overall,
like how much money they spent to make it.
Actually,
Right.
I think overall, I think that one has been the better one.
Okay. Oh wow. Because for me, I would say on like a 10 scale, it was maybe a 5.
Like how impressed you were when you walked
Right.
in.
And component quality, I guess.
Yeah,
if
I
you're
don't
putting
know
in-
that a lot of escape rooms are super like elaborate.
Yeah,
I
I
think
would
majority
actually-
is like first off, it's a newer concept, so it's not like these people are going in with like $1 million budget.
Mhm.
Right. Because I was actually wondering how much these places can actually make. You know,
Well,
basing.
that's $20 a person for an hour, up to 8 people. You could
Well, I guess you're right.
bring in a good amount of money.
If you get if you
Yeah,
book
if you're booked all the time.
if you're booked
Yes.
all the time.
But if you're if you have
Who's gonna go do this from 8 to 5 Monday through Friday?
well, that's
So,
that's one of the bad parts about it is you're only going to hit that one person once.
yeah, that's
you're not
true.
going to have someone that comes in and like, oh, I love escape rooms. I'm going to do your escape room once a week.
Yeah, it'd be cool if you could do the escape room, but like randomly generate some of the puzzles. Even though it's the same puzzle, it does make a difference. So that if you come back with other people,
With other people, you kind of know what you got to do, but you don't know the
how
answer.
to do it. Yeah, you don't know the answer. Right, exactly. That would be kind of neat, but some of them that are physical, I mean, how do you change that?
yeah.
Oh, go grab that wand over there.
Speaking
this
of
thing
physical,
out.
I just thought of the one that's by Rick's. The other one they have is a bank heist, and from what and you can hear this one sometimes when you're in there. They have laser lights, and you have to like try and get around them, and it like sets off crazy alarms when you're in there.
Does
So
it take away your time?
I don't know about that, but
should.
it probably should.
It'd be
but-
cool if there was a door that once you get past it, like it'll shut if you hit the laser light, and you have to go back and hit a button to start it over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, we're making escape rooms. That's
I
what that
actually, I was just gonna say that.
Dude,
I
it's
was like,
so awesome.
it would be actually a lot of fun to design and implement one.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, on next Halloween, I'm like at my house, like the very beginning, it's gonna be an escape room
Escape
just
room.
to get to the candy.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, anything else? We're like 3 hours and 10 minutes, but I mean,
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm gonna edit this down obviously because we
Right.
got a lot of blank space some here and there. So, anything else you want to say about escape rooms?
No.
I'm sure this is not the only time we're going to be talking about this.
Mhm.
No, I'm just glad y'all see why I like them so much now.
That's fair. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. So good.